Hello there. I know it's been a while since one of these have been done, but I figured I might as well come back around because we didn't have a episode planned in the near future. So welcome to another one of Mike's vinyl updates. The last one of these I did was in March, so it is now July. So it's been a few months, and in that time frame, I've gotten another stack of records, basically. So as we do with all the vinyl updates, I'm going to go through them, talk about them, showcase them, etc., whatever. Um, and this one is special for a number of reasons. One of them is that two of the records I'm about to show off have been what I call white whale records. They are records I have been dying to have for literally the entire time I've been into vinyl collecting, which at this point is the better part of like 3 years. Ever since I started, I have wanted these two records, and I finally have them, so I will get to those. And the second reason it's special is the last record I'm going to show off, which, of course, we're going to build up to it since it's the last record, but I don't want to spoil it in any way, but it is warranted to talk about. So everything else, though, a lot of good albums here, in my opinion, a lot of good stuff. But in most cases, we're just building towards that end point. So I say, why not get to it? So first one, these first two records actually are ones that we have done an extended Album Fight Club episode about. In fact, they were also in a second episode where we talked about ranking the big four of grunge albums we covered. And the first one of those is Alice in Chains' Facelift. You can probably guess what the second one is. It would make a lot of sense. But yes, Alice in Chains' Facelift. I'm actually going to take the record out of the sleeve because the glare, I always do this, the glare just gets to me. So really great follow to the idea of these guys starting out. I know these guys had some like history in the music scene of Seattle and all that stuff, the whole grunge movement. But like Facelift, I think might be in many respects the best debut from the big four of grunge. And the issue there is that I say it might be because frankly it's not. Some may say this is the strongest piece of work. It certainly has one of the strongest songs in the entire camp of grunge, that of course being Man in the Box. But even beyond that, I think this record in many ways gets overshadowed by what comes next. Yes, what comes next is better than this record, but I don't think that this record deserves to be just kind of like pulled to the wayside in that way, because I think this record has a lot of great stuff on it. I think We Die Young is an amazing opener. Man in the Box, of course. I Can't Remember and Love, Hate, Love, I think, are never talked about, and yet those two songs, I think, really stand out. I think they're really good songs. And then the second half of this record, I do like it, but clearly it's the weaker half. It just frankly is. And again, we've talked about this immensely on the Album Fight Club episode and the Album Rank Club episode we did where Alice in Chains was included. So if you need more thoughts on this or our opinions of each, including Cody's opinions, you can check out that episode. We talked about it at length, but I finally have it on vinyl. And of course, I couldn't just get Facelift and not get Dirt, which is the follow-up, the sophomore release. Many people say that Nevermind is the best grunge record, and I think that's fucking ridiculous. This record destroys Nevermind, completely eviscerates it. It's like it's the Alice in Chains' Dirt is the Death Star, and Nevermind is a planet that stands no chance against it. It's Alderaan. Like, it's just getting blown to bits. I don't understand how we live in a universe where people will elevate Nevermind to the status that it does, but not elevate Dirt. This record is just so goddamn good across the board. Now, if you've listened to our episodes and ramblings about Alice in Chains and this album, you know that there is at least one, if not two tracks on here that I'm not huge fans of, and those, of course, are Godsmacked. I'm sorry, I just don't like that song. I don't like the vocal approach that Lane Staley does. And the other one is Sick Man? Yeah, Sick Man. With that being said, though, this album, the high moments are like some of the highest moments you will hear in grunge. I mean, my God, Them Bones, Damn That River, Rain When I Die, Down in a Hole, Rooster, Dirt, Wood, as your closing track, Wood. Oh my God, it's so good. Yeah, this album's just peak. It's just so goddamn good. It was the album that ranked number one in our album rank club ranking of the big four of grunge and the 8 albums we talked about. I think it's a very solid choice for number one. It wasn't my personal number one, it was my number two, but it being number one overall on the list, I can't really fault it. It's amazing and everything about it is great. So yeah, I just wish we lived in a world where people would open up their fucking eyes and realize that Nevermind's really not that great of a record, but this is a really great record. And in many ways, I think this record's underrated. the fact that people would put Nevermind over Dirt is just absurd to me. So there you have it. That's how I feel. All right, completely different shift into another genre and another lane. We actually have, funnily enough, Sabrina Carpenter's Short and Sweet. Now, technically, this is a shared record between my wife and I. This is more her record than mine, but I do like this record, so I wanted to talk about it. Meteoric rise of Sabrina Carpenter in the last year or two. I mean, Espresso and Please, Please, Please are songs you could not escape this past year, and for good reason. They're really catchy pop songs, and this record has really good, catchy music on it. And the thing I really love about Sabrina Carpenter, which is the thing I really love about like a lot of the young female artists coming up right now, including Chappell Roan, Olivia Rodrigo, is that they just are so unfiltered, right? Sabrina, this whole album, for much of it, is Sabrina Carpenter just being like, yeah, I just want to have sex with every dude that I want to have sex with. And like, you know, a lot of older people or like closeted people or people who like can't get over their own morals, like read that and go, oh my God, it's so trite. It's so disgusting that she's just so openly talking about sex. And it's like, get over it, dude. Like, you're going to pretend like sex isn't something people pine for, talk about, want to have. So like, I appreciate that she's so open about it. And yeah, she's got a lot of fans who also love it. She's got a lot of detractors who think she's like a devil worshiper or a slut or whatever, dude. Like, she's great. I love that she's totally her. This whole album, she is totally her. There's no song in this album where she like reels it back. She is totally her through the whole thing. Yeah, I think it's a great record. I think it's really good. And honestly, if it won Album of the Year at the Grammys, I would not have been really upset with that. It wouldn't have been my personal choice, but I think it is really good. Excuse me while I take a sip of liquid here, just to get some liquid moving. Okay, so this next record was one that, for some viewers, surprisingly, I have never listened to before prior to getting it and prior to purchasing it. It was actually featured on Apple Music's Top 100 Greatest Albums of All Time list, which, if you know that list, it's a terrible list. But this, in the top 30 records, this was the one record I had never listened to. And so I was like, oh, let me listen to it. And oh my God, it's such a good record. Joni Mitchell's Blue. Now, I'm familiar with Joni Mitchell, right? Of course, Big Yellow Taxi and other things. But like, I had never really dove into her work like this. But man, is this record good. Like, honestly, I've only been familiar with this record for like the last 2-3 months or so, but within that time, this has quickly become like one of my favorite singer-songwriter albums like ever. Just so much great material on here. Her performance throughout the whole thing is just so hauntingly beautiful. Her voice is amazing, and it's always been amazing. But yeah, just this record's just really fantastic, and I'm amazed that I've like never heard it before, buying it and purchasing it. But like, I don't regret it at all. I'm pretty sure I got this for like $20 on Amazon, which honestly is a steal at that point, how good this record is. But yeah, really, really good. Nothing really on the back half, just more blue. But yeah, I don't really have much to say other than I think it's fantastic. And Cody and I are thinking about, and I think we really should, doing an episode where we sort of dissect the top 30 of that top 100 list and just go through them, see where things are ranked. Do we agree? Do we think it's too high, too low? And I think it would be an opportunity to talk more about this record there. So in the event we do that episode, I'll save it for that. I'll just conclude this bit by saying I think this record is really fantastic. So there you have it, Joni Mitchell's Blue. All right, another record that we have talked about. And it was a situation where in the album Fight Club matchup that this was, I had one of the records in the matchup but did not have the other one. But very clearly said, I really want the other one. And so I finally bit the bullet. One of the songs on the album, Alice in Chains, what? Ace of Spades is what I meant to say, by Motorhead. Yeah, it's their best record. Like, I know on the episode of Overkill versus Ace of Spades, I said that I really like Overkill, and I still do. I think Overkill's a great record. But just bar for bar, beat for beat, pound for pound, it's just Ace of Spades. It's just the best one. Because in so many instances, you have their career-defining moments. I mean, Ace of Spades, the title track, it's easily their best song. It's easily their most popular song. It just is like metal glory at that point. But then, You Love Me Like a Reptile, We Are the Road Crew, Bite the Bullet, The Chase Better Than the Catch, and then my favorite song on here, The Hammer. The Hammer goes so fucking hard. Yeah, this album is really good. And I'm not, again, I don't recall if I ended that episode by saying I prefer Overkill. I'm going to have to, if that is the case, I'm going to have to revoke that. Ace of Spades is just, it's just a better record. Now, I will say, Overkill, Damage Case, and what's that last song? Why am I blanking on it? Limb from Limb. Those three songs are like three of my favorite Motorhead songs, period. But the rest of Overkill, I think, is just, it's fine. It's not great. It's fine. This vinyl actually is a colored one. It's got this like white around the edge with the blue in the middle, and of course the logo. So just wanted to show that off. Great record, fantastic. Glad to have it in my collection. It's a metal classic, and honestly, if you're a metal fan, this should be in your collection, because why would it not be? How could you say anything bad about Ace of Spades, you know? Another album that I'm surprised it took me this long to get into my collection, but I finally bought Master of Reality by Black Sabbath. So this stems all the way back to our second episode of the podcast where we talked about Paranoid and Master of Reality. Both Cody and I are of the opinion that Paranoid is the better record. I still hold that opinion. But when Master of Reality is good, it's really damn good. I mean, Sweet Leaf is amazing. Children of the Grave is such a good song. And honestly, the 1-2 punch at the end of Solitude and Into the fucking Void, Into the Void, I still can't get over that song. That's such a good song. And in fact, I'm going to bring that song up again when we get to the last part of this, because a fun little thing happened regarding that song. But yeah, it's Master of Reality. There's really not much to say. We talked at length about it on the Black Sabbath episode, so you can go watch that if you want. But the one thing I do want to mention is that recently, at the time of recording this, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, Black Sabbath did the Back to the Beginning concert or show, where they got like 15 acts or something to like do a 14-hour show with them. And at the end of it, Ozzy and Black Sabbath performed, and it's going to be assumed as the last time Black Sabbath will ever perform because Ozzy is doing very poorly health-wise. What an amazing concert. I mean, just like the bands that performed, you had Metallica, Anthrax, Slayer, Lamb of God, Guns N' Roses. Like the lineup was unbelievable. And then like every one of those bands did at least one cover of a Black Sabbath song. And it's just like, that's so cool, dude. Really cool. You can find videos of it online. There was a pay-per-view, like live taping of it. I'm sure it's behind a paywall now, if it's even accessible. I was able to see a bit of it. It's really damn good. Shout out to Youngblood. He killed it. I think a lot of people went into that concert thinking he's like not it. And he clearly showcased that, yeah, I'm it, right? I can do this. And he was fantastic, as was pretty much everybody, because you get some of the biggest acts in metal. Alice in Chains was there as well. So really cool. Just wanted to talk about that briefly. Thought that was a really cool thing that was done. And it's a great way to send off Black Sabbath for how important and influential and just like standard bearing they are for metal. Like, honestly, they're like the first metal band. So to have a huge send off like that was amazing. I think other bands should do a similar thing. Metallica, please retire. But please retire. Do one last show like that, where it's like, we've scheduled a whole day from like 10 to 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. It's just band. Each band does a cover of a Metallica song. And then at the end of the night, you can even do a 2-hour set, right? Black Sabbath did like a 30-minute set because they're all like 85. But, you know, Metallica, you guys still like to play live. Just do like a 2-hour set at the end. But have it build up with like hours of great content. That's just my opinion. You all know how I feel about Metallica. Metallica is the most discussed band on this podcast easily, so I'm not going to talk anymore about it right now. All right, the next stack, the next 3 records, is actually in a bit of a similar vein, a trilogy, if you will, etc. I'll actually just pull up the first one and say I was able to purchase and able to get the trilogy soundtrack for the Guardians of the Galaxy movies at a relatively good price. So this was not something I was necessarily seeking out. I didn't need these on vinyl, but when I saw the price point and thought about what songs are on these records, I was like, okay, I'm fine with that. Because the Guardians of the Galaxy movies are all great. There's one that I think is not great, but I'll get to that. But overall, very good movies. James Gunn, man, sorry, I'm really coughing. James Gunn really showcased that he can pull these. Prior to the movies, D-list Marvel characters, if we're being honest. Nobody knew who Drax, Gamora, Star-Lord was, unless you were like really deep in the Marvel comics. Like, you just, the Guardians of the Galaxy, who are they, right? And now they're literally like A-list heroes. Everybody knows who Rocket Raccoon, Groot, Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, Mantis, like everyone knows these characters now because of the success of these movies. But on top of it, the soundtrack as well, and by soundtrack I mean, like, there was an orchestral soundtrack done by Tyler Bates, and the orchestral soundtrack is good, right? It's fine. But the awesome mix soundtrack, which is like the songs by bands that were selected. So, for example, on the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, you have Hooked on a Feeling, Spirit in the Sky, Moon Age Daydream, Fooled Around and Fell in Love, I'm Not in Love, I Want You Back. So, like, Come and Get Your Love by the Redbone. It's like songs that are not made for the movie. They were pulled in. I don't know if I'm blanking on what that term is, but you know what I mean. And I think that helped a lot of the movie. Like, my mom, for example, back when the Marvel Cinematic Universe was, peak, was at its prime, we would go to the movie theater together and see all the Marvel movies. And she really liked Guardians of the Galaxy because she really liked the soundtrack, and the soundtracks, plural. Because they're really good. They just chose really good selections. Actually, this is a gatefold. You can see you've got the concept art. And I want to point out, I don't know if it's going to appear on camera, but this concept art, which is pretty famous if you know the movies, this concept art, the Guardians look amazing. I'm surprised these designs didn't make it to the final cut, but, things change over time. And given that it is, primo vinyl, we've got the red vinyl with the yellow sticker, and of course the yellow vinyl with the blue sticker. Very nice. So, Guardians of the Galaxy, the first soundtrack, I like it a lot. I think it's really good. Speaking more to the left side, which is the awesome mix as opposed to the orchestral score. Again, the orchestral score is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But the real reason I bought these was just for the awesome mix, basically. The first one, it's my second favorite of all of them. And honestly, the Guardians of the Galaxy, the first movie, is my second favorite of the trilogy. But what's funny is that both the soundtrack and the movie, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, are actually my favorite of the trilogy. So I think the soundtrack is the best, the awesome mix is the best, and I think the movie is just the best. As far as songs you have on this record, included in the awesome mix, I mean, Bring It On Home to Me is in there. The Chain, Fleetwood Mac, I mean, my God. Fox on the Run, Lakeshore Drive, Mr. Blue Sky, that opening in the movie of Mr. Blue Sky with the credits rolling and they're fighting that big, like, tentacle monster. It's so good. That's exactly what you go to Guardians for. Yeah, I just like the movie the most, and I like the soundtrack the most. Now, it's less songs than the first one, so that's a bit of a, detractor, but I don't know. My Sweet Lord's on here, Come a Little Closer, Surrender. It's just good, who hasn't seen the Guardians movies, right? I mean, my wife hasn't seen them, which was crazy when I found that out, but they're really good stuff. The color vinyls in this case are a sort of like orange color, orange yellow, like light orange, and oh, right, they're the same thing. So the same orange color. And then, of course, you have your gatefold. So more of a less interesting one here than the first one, in my opinion. But still a thing to show off. So Volume 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, my favorite movie and favorite soundtrack. And funnily enough, my least favorite movie and my least favorite soundtrack of all of them is, in fact, Guardians 3. Now, it's not so much the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack is good. Both the orchestral score and the songs chosen for the awesome mix, I think, is a good assemblage of songs. My issue is really with the third movie itself. I don't really love this movie, and a lot of people think it's great. I just don't quite see it. I think it was kind of made just to, like, close out the Guardians, and I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's pretty good, but it's not, I think, anywhere near the quality of the first and the second one. Of course, you got your gatefold, nice profile shot of them all. And in the case of the colored vinyl, we have purple this time. And if I'm not mistaken, blue. Yes, we have a blue vinyl. This is not a movie podcast, so I'm not going to really go off about why I don't really love this movie. I just think there's something about it that doesn't quite hit what Guardians 1 and Guardians 2 has. This is a music podcast, and so I'll just say that I think the soundtrack here is good. Songs on here that I really like. Crazy on You. We did a whole episode on Heart. Since You've Been Gone by Rainbow. We Care a Lot by Faith No More is a great song. No Sleep Till Brooklyn, Badlands. So it's good. Don't mistake it. It's not bad. It is very good. And what's interesting about this, vinyl here is that there are no orchestral selections here. This is all just the awesome mix, which takes up all 4 sides of the 2 vinyl. So that's fine and that's cool, but there's a lot of songs here that I just don't really care for, that don't really do anything for me. I've never loved In the Meantime by Space Hog. Something about that song is just kind of cringy to me. I Will Dare, This Is the Day, Poor Girl performed by, these songs really do nothing for me, but there are songs on here that do. So overall, this is my least favorite of them all, but as a total package, as a collective, I think the Guardians' awesome mix 1, 2, and 3 together make up a really good, I don't know how to describe it, like mixtape, like collection, best of hits, if you want to say. So it is good, but it's not my favorite one. So that's that. All right, we're down to the last 3 records. So these next 2 records are the 2 White Whale records I was talking about. For years, and literally years, I've been looking for these records and could not find them at a reasonable price. And by reasonable, I think for the case of this first record, I couldn't find it anywhere under like $100. And on vinyl at 100 is just way too much, right? So the record company who pressed it, I forget who pressed it, it probably says, Roadrunner. So Roadrunner decided to repress this thing, and now all of a sudden you can get it for like $30. And I was like, absolutely, because I freaking love me some Symbolic by Death. This record for years, again, you could not find it anywhere. Because in many ways, this is typically seen as the best Death record. I would have to agree this is my favorite Death record as well. But you just couldn't find it. So I'm very happy to have this because I wanted it in my collection, and for many years I just couldn't get it, but now I have it. Why is Symbolic my favorite? Death is a band where I actually would love to have all their records on vinyl and then do like a vinyl ranking. Death is a band where, they do not have a bad record, honestly. Their weakest record to me is Scream Bloody Gore, and even then it's not a bad record, it's a good record, but like the collective agreement generally is that Symbolic is typically seen as their best work. And even then it's like up for debate. Some people say Individual Thought Patterns, some people say Human, some people say Leprosy. Like it's just across the board. But for me, I agree with most people in that. I think Symbolic is just the best. It's just Chuck at the peak of his creative output, and the band he assembled were just like also fantastic. In particular, this is a record where every song just like hits so hard. It's so good. There's not a dud here. And honestly, I think my favorite song on it's hard because there's A Thousand Eyes is amazing. Empty Words, Zero Tolerance, Crystal Mountain. But Perennial Quest is a song nobody talks about, in my opinion. But that freaking bit that leads into the chorus, the like, the song, what I'm talking about. That fucking run, that passage, every time it comes on, I want to like bust my head through a wall. Like it's so adrenaline pumping. And this whole album is adrenaline pumping because Death is known for playing very heavy, loud, fast, aggressive music. And that is the case here as well. So Symbolic, amazing record. If you're looking to get into death metal, this is definitely a very good intro to it. It is hard to approach. It is hard to digest at first, but that's a lot of metal music. It takes a bit to get to it. But once you get to it, it scratches that itch. I'm telling you, no other music does it quite like metal does. So there's that. The other White Whale record, and honestly, the one that is for many years like my number one White Whale record. I wanted this record more than any other record, and you just could not get it for a reasonable price. I'm not really sure what happened in this case. I'm going to guess it was a repressing because how else would it have happened? But Alive 2007, which Will and I did the Daft Punk episode with Ram and Discovery, and I mentioned that I had gotten Alive 2007 because Alive 2007 is my favorite live record of all time. I know that's steep competition. I've showcased a few other live records I have. Decade of Aggression by Slayer is up there. Made in Japan by Deep Purple is really good. But man, Alive 2007. For 2 main reasons. One, the approach they took of just like, the glare is really bad, of taking their music at the time, which included Homework, Discovery, Human After All, just taking those songs and just like doing their own sort of fan mashup. Some of these songs just get a whole new breath of life into them. Especially the Human After All tracks, which Human After All, I think it's a good record. It's often seen as the weakest Daft Punk record. I would have to agree, but There are some Human After All songs on here that are so much better because of the way they intersplice them with other songs that are also on the record. It's just so damn good. And then the second thing is just the energy of this record is so palpable. Like all live albums, you hear the audience, you hear them cheering and clapping and shouting, but like something about this, and maybe it's because it's electronic dance music and it just brings energy itself, but man, it's just so good. I love this thing. I adore it. The fact that I have it on vinyl makes me very, very happy because I've wanted it forever. So I have it. It's awesome. White Whale, Taken Down. Call me Captain Ahab. All right, last record. Not a White Whale record, but one that is pretty important to me, and one that I'm very glad I have, which is Notes from a Lost Dog by Tourneforte, or Tourneforte, depending on who you talk to. And you'll notice it's actually signed by the members of the band. And though it's a bit of a not great signature, that would be one Cody Constantine on the back, who signed this for me because, if you do not know, he is the bass player for this band. So story behind this is that we actually, and by we I mean my wife and I and two of our friends, Nikki and Sean, shout out, we went to see Tourneforte play live because Cody was in the town, Myrtle Beach. He was with his band playing at Arcadia Studios, shout out to them, and they featured a concert where they had two opening acts, Haunters and Never Any Ordinary, who were great, and Tourneforte was the headliner, quote unquote. So we went to see Cody play live. He played the music from this record, including other songs, etc. So really cool to see that. And they had their merch table. And I was like, man, I would really like to have their vinyl. And then, of course, it was right there. I bought it. I made all the guys sign it, including Cody. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool to have Cody's music on vinyl. It's cool that he signed it. It's just like a little piece of our friendship now in like physical form. This podcast obviously is audible, our friendship in audible form, electronic, virtual form. But this is like literal physical manifestation of our friendship. This is really cool. And the fact that he signed it is also really cool. What I will say about this record is that Cody did not play on this record. This record came out before, or rather was conceived before Cody joined the band. So while Cody is not on this record, he's still like the core member of the band right now. And so he played some of these songs and, he knows these songs. So they're still a part of him. And as far as the record is concerned, it's a great little record. Tourneforte, if I could describe them, very singer-songwriter and emo with a bit of heft to it. They've got songs that are not like death heavy, but like they got some heft, they got some punch. So this record definitely has that as well. But it's not the kind of a music that would like, it's not abrasive, What's fascinating is that at the concert, I did not expect this to happen, but there were people moshing to some of these songs. And I was surprised by that because I was like, I'm used to moshing to Between the Buried and Me, the heavy music. This is not that. And yet people were still moshing, which is cool. I love moshing. I think it's awesome. So cool to have this. I wanted to end on this because I think it means the most. So cool. Awesome. Hope to see him again soon where we can watch him play live because that'd be awesome. So there you have it. Almost at the 30-minute mark. That's fantastic. So short little thing here, just a vinyl update. I'm sure 3 months from now, maybe 4, I'll come back with more because the vinyl grind never stops apparently for me. But hey, I buy it. I use my money. So it is what it is. If you listened or watched, thank you. Also, if you are watching on YouTube, I do want to say this. You will notice that none of the recent Album Fight Club episodes have been posted to YouTube. That is because I do not want to. It takes time. And honestly, our Album Fight Club episodes on YouTube get like 0 views, maybe 1. Our Spotify ones get, some views where YouTube gets none. So the future of the YouTube channel is likely just going to be vinyl updates and rankings and discography stuff. I don't think the Album Fight Club episodes are going to make it there anymore. So if you want to listen to those, again, Spotify, Anchor, we're on those platforms where most people listen to it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But hey, I just wanted to point that out. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being you. And take care. See you on the next one.